Fast and Whole Foods, and there's a lot of people engaging with authentic engagement using, but you know, people are way too caught up in just Twitter, right? Even I just answered you by Twitter. It's one piece. I mean, for me, for example, Ustream is probably the most effective social media tool I use, because for the few of you that have probably watched me on Ustream, it's awesome because I'm right there with the people. You know, it's the most intense engagement you can have. So anything that allows that is an amazing tool. So I think it's a necessity. I don't even think about that anymore because I couldn't even imagine a company not being involved. How can you be silent or not involved in a world where people are talking about your brand and you have the ability to interact with them? That's insane. I mean, it's completely insane. And so I think everybody's, you know, there's a lot of people now doing it right. A lot more than I think people think. And I think there's a lot more to it. I think it's the little things, really. I think creativity wins. You know, we just launched Gourmet Library, our gourmet food site. So we're just putting like free cheese and olive oil in people's wine orders with handwritten notes saying, hope you like, you know, it's caring, right? We're doing something crazy this winter. We're gonna wait for snowstorms in New Jersey by the store, and on the biggest one, we've already run the numbers on like top clients, and not even like dollar amount, just active or long time, just a whole array of like 15 clients, and we're gonna personally go and shovel their driveway. You know, and that's it. I'm pretty pumped about it. I think it's gonna, can you imagine, seriously, could you imagine like waking up in the morning like this sucks, and you look outside and your driveway's shoveled, and there's like a shovel down and says, we took care of this from your friends at Wine Library or whatever store? That'd be cool. So I think that's the kind of stuff that is going to start separating, because not only is it awesome, but now there's an incentive for people to do that as a business, because you know that person isn't going to tell just 3 friends anymore. Because of social media and the connections and the platforms, you have the ability to really get a big reach out there. I think if you're smart and authentic and not trying to game it just to people that have a lot of followers, it can be really cool. For example, we have no idea who the 15 people are, if they, you know, as far as social media. We just believe in the concept. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you and your brother have done a great job of energizing the Jets in social media.
Yes.
Yet the NFL
Yes.
and other leagues seem to be quite afraid of it and are really restricting their access to it. So how do you think it's all going to play out?
I think that sports, 1947, the three biggest sports in this country were horse racing and boxing. That's how I think it's going to play out. I think the leagues that don't roll with the punches, I think the NFL needs to be very careful. I understand it's America's pastime now. It definitely is. And they've done an amazing job with their brand, but they're over-controlling. And, you know, over a period of time where we start getting connected to our UFC stars, or our lacrosse stars, or our soccer stars, or our, you know, extreme sports stars, and we have that connection, we're going to care more about that than Drew Bledsoe's, or who's making wine up here, by the way, or, you know, or active. Well, they'll carry roads. But yeah, I mean, listen. Ironically, the NFL, you know, they have restrictions, not super bad. We've been able to navigate through them. Individual teams have different rules too, but you know, the NBA and you know, they've got a pretty good. They came out with some pretty solid rules. I believe in the hour before and the hour after. I think that's makes some sense. They've got to. They've got media deals and things of that nature. We you know, VaynerMedia is now taking care of the National Hockey League. That's our client. That's been really great. Just by them listening instead of doing nothing, their Twitter following went from 5,000 to 50,000 in the last 30 days. You know why? Because people freak out when the NHL follows them. You know, it's a big brand. It means something. So it really is going to come down to customer service and content. And by the way, I think every company in the world needs to be in the content business. Why in the world couldn't, you know, Microsoft or Amazon or Apple be Fast Company? Why couldn't, you know, a perfume be People Magazine and Us Weekly? You know, I think brands have to really think about getting more into the content game, mean, if you look at what I've done with Wine Library and Wine Library TV, I think that's massively replicatable for Nordstrom's. Nordstrom's has relationships with all the top designers. Why couldn't they be in the content game? I think that can get really interesting and will change the landscape. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question, technical question. You mentioned Ustream's a big space for you, but you use Viddler on your TV. Is that just, do you like Viddler just because you like the bookmarking aspect, or kind of what's your top 1, 2, or 3?
So I think YouTube is much better for most people in a lot of ways because there's a lot more eyeballs there. Viddler works for me because the tagging of the length of the show, it's very important for me. Also, about a year and change ago, you know, due to being with Viddler from the get-go, I got into board of advisors and got some equity from them, and so now there's some you know, financial and business relationship obligations there. But I consult our clients to use YouTube a lot of times too. But if it's long length, that tagging is huge. There's so many people that wanted to watch, you know, only the third wine review, and so yeah, you know, I think that you need to be everywhere. For you not to, if you're doing video, for you not to use TubeMogul or Blip TV and put it on every platform in the world would be insane. And then you pick one to be your embed. You know, and if you want to do HD, I think Vimeo does an amazing job. So, you know, I just think it comes down to what you're trying to accomplish. But if you're looking to get random new viewers, obviously YouTube has a lot more infrastructure.
Within your real stream, is Viddler real stream?
No.
Oh, okay, just tape. So
Yeah.
Ustream you like for your real live?
Yeah, and now I'm going to start checking out livestream.com. They seem to be pretty aggressive. They're based in New York. They're knocking on my door pretty hard. We'll see what kind of product they have. Yes.
So I'm in sort of on a much smaller scale in the same position as the NFL, in that I run a summer camp and I got to worry about what my counselors are putting out there, and parents are going to Google the counselor and see this drunk photo, and it's going to be ridiculous. What would you suggest for someone that's sort of losing control in a big way that's kind of scary?
So there's no way you can control it. So you've got to flip it on its head, right? I mean, really, the NFL and you trying to control that's communism. It is. It's you trying to suppress the media. Now, there's just, everybody's the media now. Weird, right? I think that we tell our clients, I spoke at Disney, talk about a big company trying to control their stuff. I was like, guys, having an open forum, everything open is good. I mean, it's not fun for you that you're gonna have to fire 5 out of 12 counselors, but that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to get them all together and be like, listen, you're taking care of young kids. Parents in this digital age are looking you up. If you're not presenting something online that I feel is right for my company, you won't work here. If you can't help it and you want to put up pictures of beer pong throw up night, then that's fine, I respect that, but you're not going to work here. That's it. So you make the line in the sand, you educate all your people of what your standards are, and then you really have to fire. And if it's the best Sally who's been with you for 13 years and she's dominant, but you found her having her Facebook profile of a bikini inappropriate, if that's what your threshold is, you make a decision. You know, we're hiring for VaynerMedia. We don't look at resumes. We only use the web. That's the way it is, right? And we see crazy stuff, but that's not how we judge. You know, for us, we're not dealing with parents. I'm not worried if a corporate client doesn't want to hire VaynerMedia because one of my employees has, you know, his butt crack showing in his, you know, in his profile. I don't want that client anyway. It's too much of an uphill battle for what we're trying to teach anyway. So you have to know what you're dealing with. For you, parents are going to be hypersensitive. You don't want to lose that business. Then you need to have that conversation. But there's no way. There's no way to control it. I mean, ESPN is going to go out of business because of their DNA. I firmly believe that. Firmly. Because no live sports, you know, league is going to have to give a deal to ESPN. They're going to all go direct. Yeah. So once they lose the sports, all they're doing is social commentating. All of you can social commentate. I'm just going to jump in here real quick. I'm really glad we got here. One thing I'm forgetting to talk about. Some of you might think that you don't have the ability to create content. One of the really big opportunities, in my opinion, that is out there, which is why I love Tumblr, but I have to disclose I also just invested in Tumblr. I'm in a really weird spot. I'm no longer going to let these companies that I believe, I mean, in 06, I was like, Twitter's gonna be huge and nobody believed me. I wish I put money in. So now I'm just investing in companies I believe in, but that's hard because now it's like this double-edged sword when I talk. I gotta figure out this balance. But